Hello there. My name is Majella Williams. Majella. Majella. I'm a teacher of the deaf in London, in the UK, and I've worked all over the UK, Australia, Africa, different places. Now, I do work a lot with behaviour management of deaf and disabled or deaf and special needs children. It's sort of a bit of a specialty of mine that I'm quite, passionate about. And actually, some of my mums or families that I work with call me the deaf super nanny. I take it as a compliment. Um, but I do a lot of home visits and a lot of support work for families on managing the behavior of their deaf children. Okay, so I know Bianca, she asked me if I would like to do a bit of a presentation about some of the things that I do and maybe some tips about working with and living with deaf children and how to sort of manage their behavior problems. Now, I want to keep it short to like 10 to 12 minutes. I'm hoping that I can, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It might have to go in two parts. Fingers crossed. Okay, the first thing that when we're talking about deaf children, okay, deaf children, whether they've got additional needs or not, is we need to talk about communication, okay, because everything is linked to communication. And behavior is linked to communication, and often it's communication breakdown. That is the problem for the behavior. And I say this because I've actually worked at the extreme end of communication breakdown. I worked in a hospital school. It was a mental health and behavioral school for deaf teenagers who are at the very end of school and have such bad behavior. Okay, such bad behavior that no school in the UK can manage them, and we're the last hope that they have. So I worked there, and it was a lot of it was very physical sort of place. And I worked with the families, and the key to making and to seeing an improvement was family therapy. So I have seen the most extreme damage that can be done to a family, okay, to a family with a deaf child, okay, and I can tell you the key to pretty much all of the damage that was done was communication breakdown, and built up over the years, and that deaf child just had enough. They've just had enough. And lots of it was communication. They couldn't communicate with their parents, okay, and their family. And that was the key. And once that communication it can't be solved overnight. Okay, it takes time. But once that was sort of clear, and there was, oh, is it really that easy communication? Is that it? Yes. Okay, yes. That communication is the key to changing the whole family. And I have worked with families. And actually, I just want to read you a text I literally just got now from one of my mums who I've been working with for the last year, doing home visits. And it's with a family that has 3 children. She's a single mum. She's got 3 children. They're like triplets. She's got twins, one deaf, one hearing, and another one that's just 12 months younger. So, and behavioural problems, speech and language difficulties. And she was a prisoner in her own home, and her family was in crisis. Her children were controlling her. Her children were abusing her. Okay. And I went in to sort of help and support, and I do weekly sort of visits. And basically, the key, a year later, it's fantastic that family has completely changed. I mean, she was a prisoner. She couldn't go out of the house because the children would kick off, they'd throw themselves. She couldn't go to the shops. She couldn't do anything. And actually, that's quite normal behavior for deaf children her deaf child was worse, but the others were copying. So had all three. Once she controlled the deaf child, the others sort of came in because the copying stopped. They stopped. But the key to it, she went to sign language classes, okay, and learnt some sign language. She also got control back, and she did some parenting, parenting classes. But she just sort of saw she put boundaries in place, and she learned how to communicate with her children. And this is what she just told me. Can I read it to you? She said, "I'm so glad that I started to learn sign language. It has really helped me with communicating with Hussein, who's a deaf child. I'm so very glad that you guys have taught Hussein sign language. He's a much happier child now, less frustration for him. And at last, I can now understand a little bit more of what he's trying to say." You know? And really, that sort of sums up, you know, a lot of things. Understanding. Everyone in the world just wants to be understood, and they want to be loved. Okay? And even though a child, their brain is fine, they're cognitively fine, but if their language is delayed, if they have no spoken language, they have no sign language, the only thing they have is their bodies to communicate, is body language. And that is why you get such extreme temper tantrums with deaf children. More so. Now, I'm sure you've got hearing friends, and they'll see your child and they'll go, they see the child kicking off and they go, "Well, that's not normal." Well, actually, yes, it is. It is normal. If you can't speak, if you can't sign, if you've got no way of communicating, all you can do is use your body, okay, in whatever way, whether it's biting, whether it's scratching, whether it's taking, whether it's throwing yourself on the floor, whether it's banging your head, okay, banging your head, whether it's hurting other people. That is their way of communicating to you what they want, okay? Because if they learn to bite you, and that means give me food or give me what I want, then they will do that every time. That's their way of communicating. So what we need to do is give them a different way to communicate with you. Okay, instead of getting angry, we can go, "Oh, food. You want food? You want food? Food?" Then take away. No. Food. Food. And they have to, and when they sign food, when they ask for something, or they do food, or they food, they try to say something, give it to them, and then they go, "Oh, that's how I get what I want. Okay? I have to do this, or I have to do this," and then the biting or the whatever they're doing will stop, because you've given them a different way. Okay, you've given them a different way to express themselves. Instead of tantrums to get what they want, they are using language or communication, okay, or something. Now, we talk about language and communication. Home language, home signs, fine, it doesn't matter as long as you understand what they're saying and they get what they want. Okay, drink, food, you know, you can actually make it up. You don't actually even need to learn be specific, because as long as your child knows it and you know it and you understand each other, that's the most important thing at the first level of communication. That's really, really important. And then whatever they're doing, then you can interpret and you can help other people. Oh, they're saying food. They want some food. Or they might do this for, I don't know, chocolate. And it might not be, but they're doing that. That means chocolate. Give them chocolate. You see them do that, you give it. When you see them communicating in a way that is acceptable, that isn't hitting, that isn't fighting, that isn't biting, when they're communicating, give it to them. Okay? Give it to them for the first few times, because they need to know that's how they get what they want. Okay? That is really a key. Then if they keep going again, you just hang on, wait, or, wait, I've got it. And then they have to learn to wait and to be a bit patient. I have it. I know what you want, but you have to do this and use whatever it is, whether it's their toys, whether it's whatever they want, use that. You say, I've understood you, to like the carrot, okay, to do what you want them to do. Now you need to sit down and you need to calm down, or you need to tidy up. I've got it. Tidy up, and then you get it. So you have to know what your child wants. Okay, you have to know, and then you have to give them something to communicate, way of expressing. If it's the same please, okay, they do it, you get it, they're like, oh, I want it, I want it, I want it. Use it to your advantage to get all the things you want done, and when they're finished, then you give it to them. It's a win-win. You get what you want done, they've calmed down, they get what they want. But if they just kick off and you give them what they want, then they're learning that kick-off is the way you communicate. That is how you communicate. So you have to change their communication, and you are the responsible person to change that communication. And you can make up your own communication method. Do whatever you want, but you are the leader, because you are the adult, and you have communication. They don't. So you have to create it, and you have to make your own communication system and way for your family and everyone to understand what your child wants, okay, and what they want. And you have to give it, and you have to be patient, and you have to be repetitious, and you have to be patient, and you have to be consistent. Because consistency, and you have to try and understand what it is that they want when they're having this. Now, if they're throwing themselves on the floor, okay, it might be because they want to watch TV, or they want to go outside and play, or they want something. And you go, oh, you want to play. When they say play, get them to use a different way to communicate, then they get what they want. When they express themselves in a positive way, then they get what they want. Okay, so I just want to say that is sort of the first thing when I'm talking about communication and behaviour management, because I've gone for 12 minutes now about that, so I hope that's kind of clear on how to use communication to change behaviour and sort of be the leader and the carrot into what it is. Find out what they want, okay, find out what they want, use what they want to get what you want. Okay, and then give it to them. It's important that they give it to them. Don't hold it over them, because they'll just get frustrated. When you see that point of frustration when they're about to, say, oh, sit down, there you go. Well done. And praise and smile and give them a high five, because they just want to know that they're communicating and doing the right thing. That's all they want, and they want a cuddle, they want love from you. Okay, so give them what they want in a positive way. Okay, I'm just going to stop there now, and then in part 2 I'll talk about some other little tips. Okay, no problem. Well done, keep going. See, well done.